2023 is the year that I am taking better care of myself. We talked about in the first episode of this series how I was trying to rediscover my movement routine and rediscover it in the context of self-care. As you know, probably if you're watching this video, I am a full-time Pilates instructor. I work full-time for myself. My job is Pilates, my job is fitness. And it may seem like so strange to people for me to say, oh, I want to work on my own personal Pilates practice and my own fitness routine. Like, I think it seems weird for me to say that because people are like, oh, but isn't your job Pilates? Like, aren't you doing Pilates all day long? Like, I am, but I'm not. I spend so much time teaching Pilates with one-on-one clients, teaching Pilates in a group setting, filming classes, doing all of that stuff. I spend so much time in the weeds of Pilates and helping other people with their Pilates practice and their Pilates journey, but I wasn't spending a lot of time on my own practice. I was so burnt out on Pilates. I was so burnt out just like from work. I was running 1,000,000 miles a minute. I felt like I was running 2 businesses. It was a lot. It was a lot. This year, I've really been trying to pull back on things that I feel like aren't really serving me, or pull back on the things that feel like are making me feel a little bit overworked and overwhelmed, and put more time and energy into habits and just little things that really give me time and space to myself, that I can fill up my own cup before I, go through my day helping others. So we talked a lot about my movement routine in the first episode, and I just want to give a little bit of an update on that. January was pretty good. I feel like I made a goal to just move every day. Didn't have to be something super formal or long, and I did that probably 80% of January. When we got into February, a little bit of my motivation dipped. So I had to look at why it was dipping, what I could do to help myself. I think I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to be able to just come up with a movement routine like on the fly in my head. I was relying on a lot of my creative juices for my own practice, and then using my creative juices again, like throughout the day to teach classes and work with clients. And I was just finding, because I was trying to use my movement routine as a way to allow myself to reconnect to my body and disconnect from work a little bit, I was finding it difficult to stay motivated. So what helped me to get over that hump was to start taking classes with other instructors. So I started taking classes with Amanda Blauer and with Lottie Murphy. Love both of them. I'm continuing to do that. It's much easier now that I'm in the habit of like waking up in the morning and getting to my mat, and like I have that habit down. It's a little bit easier to just press play on a video. It feels really good to me to have established and to be maintaining that routine, and every day looks different. Well, I'll give you last week for an example. I literally only did 10-minute really gentle classes with Lottie Murphy because that's about all my brain can handle. I feel like last week I just kind of needed a deload week, but just doing even 10 minutes has allowed me time to myself and has allowed me to maintain a consistent practice. I've been doing Pilates for 5 years, so it can get a little bit redundant, it can get a little bit stale, but I was so used to going in studio 5 or 6 days a week and taking a class before I would teach in person. Like, I had that routine down. It was like not a big deal. So then when I was taken out of that routine and had to like figure out working out from home, it's been a learning experience. And anyone that says working out from home is like way easier, they're lying. It's tough, especially when you are so used to going in person. I feel like I have a better handle on that routine, and I feel like I'm taking care of my body, and that feels good, because I was kind of feeling like I wasn't doing that last year. I told my husband, like, when we got back from our wedding ceremony in Hawaii, I was like, I don't feel like I was in the best shape of my life. Like, I don't feel like I was in like my physical peak, and that didn't affect like our day or how I felt about it. Like, it was still the best day of my life, but like I just kind of felt bleh about how I was feeling in my skin and how my clothes were fitting and all of that. And I feel a little bit better. Now, the thing that I have been working on most in the last like 3 or 4 weeks is setting boundaries with work. And you can laugh at that all you want, but oh my God, is it difficult to set boundaries for yourself when you're working for yourself and when social media is a part of your job. Oh my God, it is so, so hard. And I think because I had never really established boundaries before, that's what led to some of my burnout last year. I recognize that that was an issue. It's something that I've tried to establish before and it hasn't quite worked. But I think for me, what I've really been trying to focus on in terms of like the habit is reducing my screen time and setting like a start time and an end time for my workday. I've really been trying to stick to that because I was finding when I don't do that, I'll wake up at 6 in the morning and the first thing I do is go on Instagram or go on TikTok and I start responding to DMs or messages from my clients and I just start working right at 6 a.m. and I think that is so unhealthy. For me personally, like go off if that's what you want to do. If that is like how you get stuff done, great. More power to you. It made me feel like I was going into my day already behind when I was doing that. So I've tried to instill screen time limits into my routine before and it hasn't worked. If you know anything about screen time limits on your phone, if you have an iPhone, it's really easy to just like ignore the limit for a minute or 15 minutes or whatever. So I was really used to doing that. Like I would set the screen time limit and then I'd wake up and I'd be like, ignore limit, go on Instagram, do. And I was kind of tired of doing that because when I was waking up and going on social media first thing in the morning, I would feel like drained, I would feel exhausted, I would feel sucked into other people's lives, and it would make me feel bad about my own life. Even if I wasn't really doing anything, it would just make me feel bad. So I didn't like starting my day like that. So I have really been trying to stick to my screen time limits, shutting things off at 8 p.m. and not looking at things again until 8 a.m. I have been doing really good there. I've been tracking it in my bullet journal. I mark it off every day that I do it successfully, and it's been feeling really good to wake up without that extra noise and to start my day with kind of like a clear head. I think I also struggle because I work from home and I'm working from like our living room. So I don't have like an office or a studio that I'm going into. Like it's just like I wake up and there's work. I need to establish, I think technology limits. I think that's something that's really going to help me to feel like I can shut work off, but also that I can take care of my brain a little bit more. The one thing I am still working on is like on my computer, kind of setting limits there when I wake up, because I do a little bit of scrolling. I look at my YouTube analytics, I check my email when I wake up, and I wanna try and stop doing that. I don't respond to emails though, I don't respond to comments before 8 a.m. So the screen time limits definitely make me feel a little more human. The boundaries are a big thing that I'm working on that I think are really helping me to like further my self-care routine. And I feel like boundaries are not like a sexy thing to talk about. Like it's just kind of boring, but especially if you work for yourself or you're still working from home, setting those boundaries I think can be really helpful, especially when you're noticing that you're feeling just like anxious going into your day or you feel a little bit jumbled. I notice when I don't do these things in the morning, when I teach that first class, like I am not all there. Mentally, I am in 10 different places, and that is what I wanted to stop feeling. I wanted to feel like I was in control, and I felt like I was out of control. So I feel really good about where my routine is right now. Other things too that have really helped, aside from like the boundaries and like the movement routine, I've started to read a lot more. So I read at night, I read sometimes just like if my husband's watching a hockey game or a football game. Like I read in the times that I would have normally like reached for my phone and scrolled on TikTok. I've started to read. I have definitely struggled a lot with anxiety in the last like 3 or 4 years. And I've struggled with feeling like I'm in control of my life and I'm in control of what I do. I think especially in times that have been really busy, I've just kind of like just tried to push through and like go on autopilot, and I'm trying to do that less. I'm trying to do that less, and that is what this self-care series is all about. This self-care series is me making videos about things I want to talk about and things that I want to make videos about. Because, you know, I don't see a lot of people talking about their issues with like work-life boundaries. And I don't see people talking about the importance of maintaining a movement routine even when you are a fitness professional, and the importance of filling up your own cup when you are in a job that requires so much of you. So hopefully this video was helpful, or at least interesting. Let me know if you struggle with setting boundaries at work or setting boundaries with screen time, if there are things that you do that you feel like help reduce your screen time, or if that's something that you're working on. I want to hear that in the comments. There was a really good response to my first episode of the self-care series, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video just as much. Remember, you're awesome. You can do anything you put your mind to, and I will see you back here for our next video.